The following program contains adult language, poor taste in jokes, racial slurs, political slurs, slants, and all sorts of things that, if you are sensitive and have a delicate constitution, you should probably go watch Teletubbies. You were warned.
I ain't drunk, I'm just drinking. But you're so high. Oh man, you know I ain't high. But you're so high. Yeah, well I just take a little sip every now and then. But you're so high. You ought to be ashamed of yourself. Oh, come on now, you all don't feel like that.
Hey, welcome back. It is still Thursday night, and the girls, well, at least two of the three, I have the wife and two little kids, have gone to bed. We have done the review on the Moka Gryff V2, and I decided it has been way too fucking long since I've done a build video. And you heard the last time I said it was like, well, you know, how many times can you build a fucking quad and show something different? You really can't. I mean, it's pretty much all the same shit. I've done, I don't know, a couple billion flight videos or whatever the case may be, or not flight videos, build videos. But we're going to do another one just so we can shoot the shit and be obnoxious and stuff like that. It's fun and bash on Barwell a little bit. It's going to be a good time. So we've got our Roto Twister, which is that much strawberry watermelon Kool-Aid and about that much Sailor Jerry's 92 proof rum and a little bit of Sprite. Makes it fucking awesome. And we got our vape. Now we need our magic box from Get FPV. Hang on. I hope the hell I can remember how to do this, you know. It's funny, and kind of, it's neat, you know, the friends that you make on this. You know, I've made so many amazing friends. My best friends I have made from quads. It's really bizarre. We all know, I always talk about my buddy Wes, which is FPV Fanatic, and my buddy Space, which is Pete. All these guys, you guys know who you are. Patrick and Donnie, all you guys. Drew, all you dudes. And the list goes on. All the Patriot Blade guys, which don't talk to me anymore because they think I'm, you know, anti-quad and all that. And I'm not, but I just got bored with it for a while. So we're going to do a few quads this summer. We're not going to do 300 of them because I've been doing boats and whatever else. But the friends that you make are amazing. And my buddy Patrick and my buddy Jesse. Jesse's a very, very good friend of mine. We've met in person as well. A lot of my buddies we've met in person. And they're building quads like amazingly good. I mean, Pat's building all these superhero quads and they're hydro dipped and all this stuff. And Jesse and all these guys are just building these badass birds. And it's like, I told him, so well, I'm gonna build one of these things. And that's like, oh, we've missed your build videos. I'm like, why? You guys do better than I do now. A quad's a quad's a quad. I'm sorry, kids. I don't even remember ordering props. Sweet. I ordered props. I don't know why. What did I get? Hurricane. Gem fans. Cool. Oh, shit. All right. And we got an HGLRC. And I know some of the stuff's new to me and some of it's not. HGLRCs. I stick with what's good. I know you guys are probably thinking, oh, there's such better flight controllers. There's this, there's that, there's whatever. I've had good luck with these. And they're light and they're small and they're cheap. Why would I do anything different? So this is the HGLRC XJB F438. So it's an F4 processor, 38 amp ESC TX20. So it's got the built-in VTX in it, which is something I don't usually do. I usually use a VTX02 or a VTX03. It's got a cap, which I won't use. There's your flight controller. There's your VTX, there's your ESC. So very, very nice. Use those a million times, no big deal. But I'm excited about these. Check this shit out. T-Motor Blackbird 2207 2700 kV. Oh, we got stickers, we got little things and screws. Wow, gave you all sorts of crazy little shit with these now. I haven't ordered anything in a while. Get FPV's like, finally, we can pay the fucking mortgage now. JJ's ordering shit again. Look at that. That's a beautiful thing. That's some sexy meat right there. So we're going to put those blackbirds on this baby. That's nice. And then the FPV cam I have to dig out of my box. yeah, and that's basically it from FPV. So, where are we going to start? We are going to start with a drink. So how you been? It's all good? Ah, very good stuff. So, the first thing we're going to do, we are going to pop off... Oops, wrong one. Where's the fucking Allen wrench? There it is. Okay. So, excuse me. And somebody, you know, I get some smart-ass guys like, are you on cocaine because you always snort? You know, I don't know what that is. Because I don't usually do that. I mean, maybe it's I don't know. It's kind of fucked up. But, no, I'm not on cocaine. I'm married and old. Those days are over. So, we're going to pop off the cap, or the cowl, if you will. Just to get it out of the way, because we don't need that right now. All right. And this is obviously on our Moka Gryff V2. Our arms are going to go all Jabberwocky because we took those bolts out, and that's okay. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to take our motors, and we're going to mount these guys on here. Very, very simple. And as you guys know, if you've seen my build videos, I don't do every single tiny little thing and spend 6 hours of time showing you how to do mundane bullshit. So here's what we're going to do. Here are all our screws and nuts and bolts and good things like that. What I do, I take the nut, I put it on, just so I don't lose it, because I will. And then what we're going to do is we're going to take some blue Loctite. And what I usually do is I'll take all the screws, all the bolts, whatever you want to call them, and I stick them into 1/4 of my magnetic pan down here. And I just give them a squirt of thread lock. Just the long ones, because that's what we're going to be using. Now, always make sure that when you're putting in your motors, make sure that your screws, they're new guys, do not go through and hit the windings in the motor, or bad things will happen. All right, so we need a different Allen wrench. Bada bing. And we're just going to screw this guy in. Nothing but peanut. Man, I haven't said that in a long time. I'm actually going to do a boat build video because my brother Bill out in Oklahoma, I'm building him a boat. He paid for it. I'm just doing the labor and the BS on it. And in return, he gave me an old school Prather hull, which for those of you that know quads and don't know boats means nothing to you. But I'm going to be doing something very unique with it, like super crazy unique. And I think I'm going to do a build series on it. A true, like we do with quads, only with a boat. So I think that'll be kind of neat. So all we're doing, you new guys, always make sure you check that these bolts are not going through all the way and hitting those windings. Now, you do not need to put a fuck ton of Loctite on these things. Just, you saw what I did. Just a little bit of schmutz, put them in there, and then tighten them in a cross pattern. And that's it. The next thing we're going to do, well, we're going to go ahead and do them all, but then we're going to do a cross braid underneath to avoid any prop strikes on the wires, and I will show you that in a second. So let me go ahead and screw in the rest of these motors. You don't really need to see that, and we'll be right back. All right, and we're back. It's been a couple minutes. Top is still off. I just tightened down the arm screws so they kind of stay a little bit better. We went ahead, put in all 4 screws, Loctited them on these Blackbirds. Listen to that. Beautiful. Oh, sexy. So now what we're going to do, one of the things that I always used to do, we're not going to do anything super fancy with this. I'm not going to hydro dip the frame. I'm not going to use all sorts of crazy things that I used to do. I want to build a good solid, since this is a build video, we're not doing a gallery build per se. So what we're going to do is we're going to do a reverse braid on these. So what that basically means is, for you new guys, when you're flying around, let's see which one's front. Okay, there's the front. Boop, 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 boop. We're flying around. And if all your wires are coming across the front like this, or over the top of the arms, and something, you know, if you crash just right or whatever happens, that blade bends down, you can actually cut the wires, okay? And a bunch of people, some guys came out with these little tiny IC boards, circuit boards that have traces on them that are supposed to save wiring or whatever. It just adds more solder joints and more weight. I'm sorry, those things are gay. I think they suck. So what I do, I take 2 wires and 1 wire, and I go to the opposite sides underneath, like that, and then bring them up top, and then we simply just braid them, okay? And I usually do this sitting down in my lap. It's a little bit easier. If you don't know how to braid, which is probably good, talk to your girlfriend, or, you know, if you're Bardwell, talk to your mom. She can show you how to do it. Sorry, it's been a while. One of my buddies asked me the other day, he said, man, it's been a long time since you've done a build video, dude, and blah, blah, blah. And I said, yeah, I was trying to give Bardwell, you know, trying to let him catch up. Well, I watched a couple of his videos. Actually, I didn't. I just kind of browsed through his channel the other day and realized he hasn't caught up. So anyway, so now what we're going to do is we're going to take some of our silicone tape. I'll put a link to this in the bottom of the description of this video. I use this stuff for everything. I absolutely love it. I use it on boats. I use it on cars. And for those of you that don't remember, or if you're new guys, this is a self-sticking tape. It doesn't actually have any sticky stuff on the back. You have to stretch it reasonably far in order to get it to stick to itself. It's fantastic stuff. So what I usually do is I lick it, honestly. Okay? Just to clean it off a little bit, get it a little bit wet. And then we wrap it around this braid. This is way too much. I've been drinking. It's just like the old days, kids. And instead of using electrical tape, this will not leave any nasty goo on your arms. I'm going to cut these in half. These are way too long. Okay? Doesn't leave any nasty goo on your arms, and it weighs less than electrical tape. And it lasts longer. It's really, really good stuff. So what we're going to do, we braid them underneath, so a prop strike can't hit there, and then we're going to wrap these around right here when we go into our flight controller. That way we can hit all day long. There's no way it's going to break. So let me go ahead and finish up the other 3 of these, and we'll put it right back. All right, and we're back. So we did a reverse braid on everything in the back, everything. You don't have to do this. This is just something. This is going to be one of my main flying birds. So with my main, you know, for my birds, I just like hang on the wall and they're pretty, and I fly them once in a blue moon. Yeah, I get a little bit weird with it, you know, and I make them really pretty and shiny and, you know, sparkly and, you know, fucking unicorn glitter or whatever. But this is gonna be a main bird of mine. So my buddy Moka sent it to me. These motors are gonna be TNA, and I want to make it functional more than pretty. So that's what we're gonna do. So you don't have to use silicone tape. You can use zip strips. You can use electrical tape if Bardwell hasn't bought all of the tape in your area, and that's that. So the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to mount our flight controller. And again, you guys, you got to take these build videos, whether they're from me, whether they're from anybody else, with a grain of salt. All the shit's the same. I mean, yeah, there's some that's better quality than others, and there's some that suck, and some that are great, and some guys swear by this, and some guys swear by that, blah, blah, blah. But, you know, at the end of the day, it all hooks up the same for the most part. So you new guys, please don't be intimidated by anybody. You know, Bardwell likes to make it look like it's fucking rocket science or something, and it's really not. It's very easy to do this. So what we're going to do is we're going to slide this. The HGLRCs come with hardware. These are really long and obnoxious screws. So you're going to slide the screw through there. You're going to put a spacer on, slap on the ESC, put a nut on, or another spacer, so on and so forth. So to give you an idea what we're going to do, we're going to take these. This is a 25 by 25, or some people would say a 20 by 20 mount. So what we're going to do is you got to make sure your front's the front and the back's the back. And remember what I said earlier, the lower legs that are below the base plate is the front, that's the back. So we don't need to worry about that just this second, but you will eventually. So we're going to slide a bolt through there and screw these on. Kind of annoying, but that's okay. So what we're going to do now is I need to find, do I have another Allen that's, we'll just use one of these. We'll just use one of these. It's been a while. All right. Okay. This is just a little bit faster doing it this way than threading it on by hand. And we're going to do this. Simple, simple, simple. Make it reasonably snug. And I'm going to do that with the other 3. Like I said, I have taught people how to do quads that have never soldered a wire in their life, just like Bardwell. I'm sorry, the jelly bean bugs me to this day. And I noticed through his video list that he's running out of things. Because I even thought about it. I thought, you know, it's kind of courageous almost that somebody would quit their job and do this for a living on YouTube. You know, I thought it was more stupid than courageous, but whatever. Now, if you're some phenom pilot like some of these guys, that's a little bit different. But, you know, Bardwell can't even build a bird, you know, and he's quitting his job. Yeah, whatever. I'm not going to do that. I love my job. But, yeah, whatever. But I saw through his video list that even he's doing very menial videos. Because I'm like, how many ways can you mix and match? How many ways can you make tomato soup? You know what I'm saying? I've built more birds than that guy's flown, and I got bored with it. Just in the sense of, okay, well, a frame's a frame's a frame, and if you put these motors on, it does that. If he does these props, it does that. And it's like, you can only do that for so long, okay? But whatever. But you new guys out there, don't be intimidated by it. It's not fucking hard. You can... If it can be made or designed by man, it can be fixed by man, or it can be built by man. You know, it's like, it's just a little machine. It's a fucking high-powered toy. You can do it. And there's plenty of people out there in the quad environment, in the quad world, realm world, or whatever, the quads, that will help you out. I'll help you if I can. I've been pretty shitty at my replies lately, so I apologize to you guys. Because I've been so enveloped. I've been doing a lot of family stuff, a lot of work stuff, and a lot of boat stuff, and I haven't really been paying a whole lot of attention to my channel. But either way, the biggest thing is make it unique. You know, after you build a couple of them, you know, it gets kind of boring. You got to make it unique. You know, that's the whole thing. Don't make it like everybody else. So here's our ESC. We're going to fire up our soldering iron real quick. That looks about right. So... And now what we're going to do, we got our 4 posts in there, make sure we got the front face in front, and we're going to put in our ESC. Okay. Pay attention, you guys, to the arrow. Okay, that is the direction that your flight controller needs to face. You don't have to do it that way. You can always rotate it in Betaflight or whatever firmware you're using, but it just makes life simpler at the end of the day to do it right first off. So I'm going to go ahead and just put one of these down, and we're going to tin up this pretty little flight controller. And we'll put the other 3 down later because you don't need to see all that stupid shit. Okay. So now, what you want to decide is how do we want to run these wires in. So let's look at our canopy. Pretty forgiving. We can do it any way we want. I'm just going to run them in off the sides. Now, if you want to, you can continue the braid out. I'm probably just going to do a twist like that, and just do that number, maybe slap a zip strip around there, and yeah, I think that's good. And then what we're going to do is we're just going to pre-cut this, give yourself 1/4 of an inch or so extra, and take the plunge. I love it when I've had, you know, my buddies over, like that build quads, sorry, I'm thinking here, and they're like, I can't believe you just did that. You didn't even measure it. I'm like, fuck it. It'll work. You know, worst case, you fuck up, you have to put on extra wire. I'm missing a wire. Woohoo, that's bad. You know what's funny? I'm sitting here, I've had a few drinks tonight. I'm just kind of reminiscing with you guys because I haven't done a build in a while. It's just fun talking again and just, you know, whatever. And then I think about the cunts that you curse too much. You'd be really great if you didn't curse too much, or this, that, and whatever. Especially the guys that tell me I curse too much. I'm like, really? How girly are you? You can't handle a fucking F-bomb once in a while without getting your panties in a bunch. It bothers me. And I think there should be a rule that you can only bash on somebody's channel if you have your own. Because half of these guys don't even have one. It's like, well, your channel's this, that, and whatever, and it sucks. Hey, I made my channel up for a couple of buddies of mine a few years ago. It was never meant to be anything more than that. If people want to hang out, great. If they don't, that's fine too. I don't do it for free shit. I don't do it for popularity. I just do it for fun. When I'm in the mood to do a quad, I do a quad. If I want to do a boat, I do a boat. If people don't like it, fuck them. This is how it is. And if you don't like that I cuss too much, guys, there was a warning in the beginning of this video that said go away. You don't need to tell me, oh, you curse too much. No shit, I cuss too much. Okay, so there's what we did. I stripped everything with my fingers. Easy peasy, jumping easy. And where's my solder? Solder. See, nothing's changed. I lose shit constantly. Solder. It's in a little tube. It's probably under my mat. Yeah, it is. Look at that shit. All right, cool. So I'm going to do a real quick tin job on these. Some of them are too long, some of them are too short. I need to do another solder video some point in the game. All right. So here's a little trick for you guys. Too much shit. Hang on a second. A professional would edit that out, but I'm not going to. You know, this stuff, which is solder cleaning sponge, you know, that metally stuff where you're supposed to wipe your soldering iron. That's great if you want to use these, but you don't have to. The best thing in the world, to be honest with you, is a wet paper towel. And I'm not even going to get it wet. Well, we can use some RotoTwister on it. There we go. Some wet RotoTwister. But just don't do it too long so it burns your hands. Notice how nasty my tip is. Watch. Look how pretty my tip is now. Oh, except for that. There we go. See? Pretty. You don't need to buy the special tools, kids. So we're going to go ahead and tin these up. Always hold your soldering iron under the wire. Soldering iron's a little cold still. That's all right. Okay. Same principle. We got to heat that up. And we're going to go ahead and tin up the board as well. So it's not a soldering tutorial, but, you know, whatever. So we're going to go ahead and tin these up. Now, again, I've said this many, many times. You do not have to get a complete coat of tinning on the pads of the solder. I'm sorry, on the pads of the ESC, because you're going to solder the wires to it, and you can melt it in then. So we're just going to do nice, quick beads, little BBs. If they're shaping up like BBs, that's fine. That means they're too cold. But it doesn't really matter, because you're going to remelt them down with the wire. Don't overheat the pads of your ESC, especially with these small boards. Very fucking bad. You do not want to do that. So it's better to heat it fast twice than a long time once with these small guys. Even the big ones. I mean, I solder massive ESCs now with boats and stuff like that. And I should do a soldering tutorial on soldering really thick gauge wire, because it can be a bitch if you don't know how to do it. This thin shit's nothing. Very, very simple. Okay. So we already did these three. I'll just go ahead and whip these through. Now, sorry, out of shot. Haven't done this in a while. Give me some forgiveness. We're going to trim this one down because it's a little bit long. Okay. I'm going to keep them twisted. And we're just going to go ahead. Hopefully you can see this a little bit. And we're just going to go ahead and solder them in. I love the guys that have to hold it with tweezers. Like, really? You that big of a girl? You got your soldering iron way too fucking hot if you can't take it. It's like, come on, dude. Now, I do that with the big boat ESCs, because you got to get those fuckers like 9,000 degrees. All right, so there we go. Nice and neat, nice and clean. Not a peanut. Very easy. So I'm going to go ahead and do the other 369, and we'll be right back. All right, there we go. Everybody's soldered up. Everybody's good. So now, one of the things I still do is I will take conformal coat. For you new guys, this is basically a rubberized liquid silicone that will kind of waterproof, water resist your bare connections. I still do that. Now, something that's interesting with the HGLRCs, now they're giving you little O-rings, which I think is really cute. Completely unwarranted, because there is no way in hell that, one, those little O-rings are going to dampen vibration. Number two, you don't need it on an F-fork flight controller, so I would leave them off. So now we're going to take our flight controller, make sure your arrow is going the same way. Look at your arrow on your ESC, which should be over here. Right, meow. Okay, and there we go, and everybody should line up. And then look underneath here, and you see that connector right there? Where's my handy dandy pointer? Make sure those are lined up that way and that way before you add any pressure. Slide it down. Bam! Nothing but a peanut. Perfect, perfect, perfect. Then we're going to go ahead and tin up all of those pads. Now you have to remember something. This thing has the VTX, but it's not a pinned VTX. It doesn't look like. It is just a wired VTX, which is fine. No big deal. So we're going to go ahead and tin up all of these pads. Bam. And for all of you guys that have never seen my channel before and you're about to leave a comment that says, you fucking talk too much, shut up. I know I talk too much. That's half the fun. And with these, they're so easy to do. I don't really pay attention to what needs tinned and what doesn't. I need to clean that soldering iron better. I just kind of do them all. I don't. It takes 2 seconds, right? It's like, really? Oh, we can't do that. We can't do this. We can't do that. Fuck that. Just do it. Okay. We're going to tin the battery side too. And yeah, I know it doesn't look that great. It doesn't need to because we're going to be remelting it. Re-wetting, as the case may be. A lot of resin on this board. Okay. And if we need the pad, it's already tinned. If we don't, yeah. My wife's in there editing pictures for one of her friends, so I'm in no hurry to get done. I've got all day to play. So, and it's like 10:30 at night, 5 RotoTwisters later. And tomorrow, if weather permits, we're going to fly this pig. Okay. Good enough. All right, so let's see what we got. Yep. All right. So, what do you have to connect? I need to dig out my camera. Hang on. I need to dig out my camera. I need to dig out my receiver. Fuck, I hope I have one. Camera, a receiver. We're going to make an antenna real quick as well. That could be last. Hopefully I have a... Actually, you know what? I might just use this. I've actually had really good luck with just using standard linear polarized because I don't fly that far away. I love far views and all that. Maybe we'll do one, maybe we won't. I don't know. We'll see what happens. So let me dig up a couple of parts and we'll be right back. Okie dokie, and we're back. So to save a little bit of time, I did tin up the VTX that comes with the HGLRC. I dug out a Fox Ear Predator Micro that I had laying around. Apparently I have a brand new other one in there. I didn't even know I had this stuff. I did find a RPSMA adapter so I can use a far view, and we're going to stick one of these far view stubbies on there. I don't know if it'll fit. Will it fit? Sure, it'll fit. Now, what it should be for this type of frame is one of these little can doohickeys. Right-hand circular polarized AX2, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, I like far view. That's what I'm using. Now, I do have to apologize. I cannot find a receiver. I thought I had one, so I'm going to have to yank one out of a quad, and I'll wire that up. But I will show you where that... I'm going to do that tomorrow. I'm not doing it tonight. But I'll show you guys where it does go. So here's the cute little manual that comes with the VTX for the TX20 for the HGLRC. Really all you need to know is right here. Okay, you see that? You've got video ground, 5 volts out. So that's where your camera is going to get wired directly into. And then you've got OSD receiver, ground, and 7 to 26 volts. And here we go. So what I did was, this is going to be my voltage input. So this is going to go directly to the board here, or it can go right to, since it's 7 to 24 volts, 26 volts, it can actually go right to the mains. Not a big deal. And we will do that. So then the camera is going to go into, obviously, the camera has 3. Our yellow is going to be our video in this case, our black's our ground, and our VCC is our juice. So what you're going to do, we're going to take our video from the camera into the OSD receive and it will be all good. Or video out, I'm sorry. So, very, very simple to do. So let's see what we've got on the flight controller. I don't know if you guys can even see this. Probably not. So what I'm going to do, you got 5 volts here, VTX, battery, all this good stuff. I'm going to go ahead and solder it up first, and then we're going to overview it because it's just too damn small to look up on here. So let me do that real quick, and we'll be right back. And we're back. Hello. Okay, so here we go. Now, because it's late in the day, I'm going to pull a receiver out of one of my other birds tomorrow. I did wire in the wires for it, so I can just pop it in there tomorrow. And that's where we've got this. So we're going positive 5 volts, negative, and S-bus going out to there. Then what we did is we took our VTX that came with this, and we wired our camera in, our ground, and our battery voltage over here. And then our camera voltage we put in to 5 volts and positive here, and their video in. So very, very simple. So now what we're going to do, we're going to leave this off. I don't know, we'll just put it off to the front for now. And then we want access to this button because that's going to change our power, and it's also going to change our channels, obviously. So we're going to just put this anywhere we want. Doesn't really matter. Probably right there. Looks good. Now we're going to fold these wires under there so it doesn't look too hillbilly. Sorry, Wes, letting you down. Inside joke amongst buddies. Okay, so we're going to fold that in just like that. And tomorrow when I slap my VTX or my receiver in there, that's what we'll do. So we're going to take that's going to be our receiver, negative and positive video, and then we're going to put our camera up there. We're going to go ahead and mount up our canopy, put the camera in. I already put the SMA on there, and we will snap the end of this right to there, okay? Nothing but a peanut. Very, very simple. So let me go ahead and pop this together. Be right back. Okie dokie, we are back. So bam, done. Aside from we need to put in our receiver. I'll do that tomorrow. That's what those wires are there for. I do recommend you put a little bit of hot glue, hot snot, right there on top of that antenna connector, because if you crash and that pops off, that's going to be a bad day. For you new guys, that will smoke your VTX. We're just going to pop on one of these. Farview sent me these a couple months back with some stuff that I ordered, these little stubbies. And this is the right-hand circular polarized Rev B, and we're going to just go ahead and screw that guy in there. Bam, done. Okay, because I love Farview, and that's what we're going to do. So the next thing that we're going to do, everything is done on this little guy. We're going to weigh it in a minute, but we need to do the XT60 connector. So where is my vise? I stepped on it and lost it somewhere anyhow. So I've got some big ass thick boat cable. So this is what we're going to use. No big deal. These things I'm throwing away. These are terrible. All right, let's use something a little bit better. And we're going to go ahead and solder some of these up. The only drawback, I think, to using these small flight controller setups that we're using, these HGLRCs, is the fact they don't give you a good path for connecting the XT60. It really kind of sucks. They're very, very small pads, and they're just, I don't like it. So I usually end up zip stripping them in. So we're going to go ahead, strip both ends of this. Very thick cable, that's okay. This is going to be a 4S bird, by the way. I don't run 6S just because I have a hard enough time with 4S. You know, it's like, why push the envelope? Let me dig up my vise. What the fuck did I do with that? Hang on, I'll be right back. All right, here we go. Sorry about that. It's been a long day. And it's been a long day. So, here we go. We're going to be very, very quick about this, hopefully. So the first thing that we're going to do, we're just going to go ahead and tin these wires. So I'm going to stick them both in here, clamp them down, and then we're going to widen them out like that so they're just not touching. And I have these are thicker than you'd probably normally use for a quad on an XT60. But since all I have right now is boat cable, that's what we're going to use. So we're going to heat it from the back side. Whoop. All right, and then we're going to put the solder on the back side. Let the solder be the vehicle for heating up the wire. Okay. Now you know you're hot enough when you can put it in the center or the top of the wire and it melts. Watch. See that? Let it sit for a second. Whoop, done. We're gonna do the same thing with the other side. Hopefully this is all in shot. We're gonna heat up the back. Put a little bit of solder on there. The solder actually heats the wire faster than just using the iron. And then we're going to stick a little bit on the sides. And then through the center. If you can't melt solder through the center, that means the core isn't going to be tinned. Ooh, that went my roto twister. Look at that shit. There's a piece of solder in there. Good stuff. Okay, hang on. But anyway, you have to have the center tinned, because if you don't, you're going to have a cold connection. You're going to add resistance. It's going to fuck everything up. Don't do it. Okay? Let's see if we can make this a little prettier here. So same principle applies. We're going to go on the back side. Let the solder heat it for a second. Wrap it around the front. Bam. Just like that. That is how you do heavy wire. And like I said, this gauge is a little bit thicker than I would normally use for a quad, but thicker is better than thin. All right, that's what she said. All right, simple, simple, simple. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to take these out. We're going to take our XT60. We're going to do the same kind of thing, like that. So right now, the round side is the negative side. You can see that by right there. There's a negative symbol. Okay, so that's the side we're going to start out with first. What I do with these is I lay the soldering iron in there just for a second, and I tin it. I run solder in there. Whoop, done. Nothing but a peanut. Now, that is the negative side. This is going to get reasonably warm, so we're going to take this. Now, what I do with these is I'll heat through the wire first, because the wire is going to absorb more heat and not melt the plastic. Then I'm going to hold it onto the XT60. Done. Give it a little bit of a Bardwell blow. Done. Okay? Now you can see you've got a nice solid connection there. Because what happens is if you heat through the XT60 first, like, okay, we're going to go ahead and tin that. Doesn't have to be full, new guys. Doesn't have to be totally full of solder. But if you heat that first, if you lay your soldering iron in there and then you put the wire on it, chances are really good you're going to melt the XT60, and that pin is actually going to move. And it's going to be a bitch to get your wires, your batteries pushed into there. So what I'll do is I'll heat up the wire first. Doesn't have to be smoldering, but then I lay it in there. You should hear the squeak when you rotate it. Give it a Bardwell blow. Done. Magic. Look at that. Pretty. Nice solid connection. So now what we're going to do is we're going to take, where's our cap? Cap. Okay? You can go ahead and, if you want to use some conformal coat on there, you can, but we don't have any loose strands. Everything's good. Negative's negative, positive's a positive. We're going to slide our cap up. Always double check that, by the way. I got a little bit too close for comfort there. So if that happens, here's a trick. Whoop. Hang on. Take a flat bladed screwdriver, stick it in the center. We're going to spread them a little bit. Bang. Done. And then we're going to go in. Now, you think this is hard. Do an XT90 on a boat. It's like, whew, those things suck. All right, we still need to separate them a little bit. I got them too close together. All right. I'm going to slide our cap on. See, we even show the fuck ups on this channel. Okay. Oh, use the pliers. There we go. We're good. Okay, so now we got to put her on the bird. We already tinned up the positive and negative on that, and it looks like the positives on the left and negatives on the right. Again, we're going to do the same exact thing. We're going to heat through the wire first. And then go to the board. Okay. And we are going to zip strip this down because these are just too fine of connections. These pads, if you rip that battery off, you're going to be replacing your ESC. Okay. Okay. Very good. So negative, negative, positive, positive. Everybody's happy. And this is going to be a rear mount. So we're going to carefully bend this down. Ah, see, it popped off right there. And I may have pulled the... No, I did not pull the pad off. Okay, so I'm going to have to resolder that on there. You got to be very careful with this, all right? But what we're going to do is we're going to zip strip these to right there, and then I'm going to resolder that back on, and then we're going to be good. But again, that's why you want to do it. You want to zip strip those, make sure they're nice and tight to the frame. That way, if you crash, you don't rip your pads off. I'll be right back. All right, and we're back. So we zip strip this down. So, because we know our battery is going to go on the bottom side, got our strap how we want to do it. We're going to strap underneath the flight controller and through, or however you want to do it, doesn't really matter. Okay, everything's good. The one thing I am going to do with that, because it is an open wound, and what I mean by open wound is if you're going to crash into a puddle or something of that nature, you want to have a little bit of conformal coat to give some water resistance to that. Okay. And we're going to go ahead and make sure everything on the out edges is good too. And there we go. Don't get it in your USB port. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to do a prostate check. Those of you that have watched my channel before know what the ever famous prostate check is. And that is when you put your meter on continuity check. Okay. It's going to be right there, the famous beep, and check for a direct short. All right, we're going to make sure those receiver wires aren't touching because that could be very misleading. Okay, I'm going to make sure this should beep once and stop. Perfect. So we can plug a battery into that and nothing's going to blow up, which is a plus. So now what we're going to do is we're going to slap some props on here. And then we're going to weigh this little piggy. I'm not going to bolt them down because I still have to do all the Betaflight setup. And yes, I am using Betaflight on this. I'm trying my soldering gun here. Iron. Woohoo! All right. So, for you new guys that don't know, blades in the front, spin in. Blades in the back, spin in. Okay? Otherwise, bad things are going to happen. And hopefully, tomorrow, if I have time, we're going to maiden this guy. I'm looking forward to it. I haven't had a good flight in a while, and I need one. Hopefully maiden a couple new boats. Well, not new, but I've built so many damn boats, guys. I got like fucking 20 of them in here I need to do. All right, make sure everybody's going to clear. Yes. Bada bing, bada bam. Sweet. All right. And there, kiddos, is our finished Moka V2 Gryff. Very cool. Turned out great. I'm very happy with the build. Tomorrow I'll put the receiver in. I'll put some hot snot on that antenna to make sure it's locked down. Positive and negative's good on there. Zip strip down there. Everybody's happy. Let's see what our final weight ended up being without a battery strap. That's okay. Use your imaginations. But people like to know what the damn weight is. I don't give a shit. And see what she weighs all up without a strap. Now, if I were using smaller battery cable, I probably would have brought it out the back right to here, but this stuff's too thick and I'm afraid that bend is really going to screw it up, so it doesn't matter. 304 grams, woohoo, with 2700 kV motors, should fly like a scalded dog. So I think that's about it. Hopefully today, I'm going to be doing some boat maidens, but it will be either today or Saturday or Sunday. We'll get a maiden flight in on this thing, and I'll post that as well, and we'll see what's going on. So that's it. Hope you had fun. Until the next time, kids, bam, keep shiny side up. Bye.
Bam, JJ! Hope you like fishing. Bam, JJ! Bam, JJ! Hope you like fishing.